Welcome all to the July 13th Disability Advisory Board meeting. We have with us Michelle Williams, Cynthia Knox, or Knox. You have too many last names.
Yeah, sorry. That's the middle name, yep.
And
Cynthia Lang, yep.
Cynthia Lang and Dr. Weiss. The other two members were unable to make it tonight last minute, so we're going to just go a little quickly. Michelle is on vacation, so we don't want to, I know, but I don't want to disrupt it. So I think the first order of business is the approval of the May 16th, 2022 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Okay.
And I'll second.
Okay, thank you.
With the changes I made prior to leaving. I know we checked the typos and stuff, so.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, the next agenda item is, I just wanted to go over some of the topics that were discussed with Parks and Rec and the Board of Supervisors. And Monica Tierney, Director of Park and Recs, has attended the last several Board of Supervisors meeting, and I know they were discussing funding of some of these projects, and that's been, in the discussion phase. So nothing is concrete by any means. There's nothing to review yet, but I felt that we should, get some input in the planning process before they even get to the point of putting something together. And so I did happen to go over to the township building, and Jim Majewski was there, and Monica had called him, so she ran over and we had an impromptu meeting last week. So I went over a couple things, and I guess one of the topics was, it was discussed at the Board of Supervisors meetings, but I think they wanted to get an idea of how much money would be available for some of these projects, because sometimes you don't want to go and create a plan that, is millions of dollars and you only have 10,000. So I think it's a good, it's good for the township to understand how much we have for certain projects, and then maybe stay within those guidelines or look for other funding if, we feel that that's appropriate also. So I think the main topics that were discussed and some of the funding that's going to be available for the Parks and Rec projects, specifically the ADA accessibility plan. And I know I forwarded that plan to all of you a couple months back. So the projects, first and foremost, would be the Veterans Park. So if you go back and just, review some of the Board of Supervisors meeting, you'll see the discussion. I know that the veterans are coming up with a plan, and I think Jim Majewski has, their vision of what they would like to see, I think some enhancements to there. So they have to kind of nail that down before then we can go and do the accessibility. Because if they're they want to put in maybe like a bandstand. So depending upon where that is, it's going to alter, any type of plans that we would come up with. So I think this is it's not ready by any means. Once they get the final plan from the veterans, then we can go in and they can look at the accessibility plan that we had reviewed and suggested, and look at parking, accessibility to the playground, the water fountains, have a handicap bathroom available, and then making sure there's a accessible path from the bike path to the entrance of the memorial. Mm-hmm. So Michelle, you can just kind of, we'll keep our eye out for that. But like I said, it's not ready for any type of review. But I would like to put something together for Jim, just to say, keep this in mind.
Sure.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
think that's a great idea, because we really, we definitely need to remind ourselves of these things, being up here now, the blue tarp going out to the beach, so everybody can have fun with all of the events happening, especially if there's a bandstand and things like that. So
right. Okay, so that was one project that's slated, for just future project, not necessarily right away, but it's in the plan, and funding would be available. and Monica and Jim would have, that funding. The next is Memorial Park, the Secret Garden. That's going to have to be addressed because of the surface is very badly damaged, and we do have to replace that I guess it was supposed to be every 10 years, but I think the wear and tear, it's about 7 or 8 years right now, but by the time we get it done. So I think that's going to be the biggest issue, is the new surface. And when I was discussing with Jim and Monica, I think the surface that we have right now, if you go up there, they have a design in it. And if you envision, they had to pour one section, let that dry, and then they pour the next green color, like to do the path or the leaves. And if you think about it, that means water, right, is going to get in between there. So it's not a true poured surface that doesn't have any way for the water to get. It's almost like cracks, and they're going to get filled. So she asked me, how important is that design? I said, well, that's a big part of the garden. You have the paths and the leaves, but they have an alternative where you can do a solid pour, right? So there'd be no gaps. And then you can use a paint. So we have to do a little investigation, and, Jim and Monica we're going to look into what type of paint, and you can create things on top of it. And so, the questions we need to ask is, how often do you have to paint it? Does it chip? Things like that. So, and maybe we can, one of our thoughts was maybe go look at other playgrounds that have that. So I think that would be preferable, because if the reason it's only 7 years, and it's damaged. I mean, if you go up
it's
there.
a impervious surface erosion. Have we, because I do know Luba from many years ago, who designed the Memorial Park, have we gotten any input from Luba or any of the designers on Memorial Park? I mean, maybe they.
Well, I mean, when we designed it originally, we worked closely with them. Yes. So that's how we got to the Secret Garden. Okay. So the design's already done. This is just a resurfacing. So we're not planning on making any design. It's just resurfacing. Yeah.
I mean, they might know whatever materials, there might be some kind of new materials, but it's. Well,
they received, the bike paths around the memorial, the actual memorial is a poured surface, but playground surface is spongy and very forgiving. What they have over by the garden, a reflection, is a much more sturdier, hard surface. So great ideas, but I think it's more of, this is very specially, as far as playground. Yeah. That's just the safety. Okay. And they did, if you do go out there again, a lot of the equipment has faded and will need to be painted. And we were thinking maybe like Artists of Yardley, could, maybe they help out with that, and again, we'd have to look into the type of paint and
or
all
the Eagle, make it an Eagle Scout project or something.
Right. So that's all. And obviously the big thing is putting up shade. I've done a lot of research on that last year, because an Eagle Scout was going to put a shade structure, but it was going to be too small for that particular park. He did it elsewhere in the community. So when I was doing the research, there were some fantastic shade structures. One actually looked like not a tulip, but like a daisy.
Oh, cool.
So, and it would be perfect coming out of there. But something like that's $60,000.
No, that's
so I know we did have a lot of people interested in making donations, and I don't know if that's something that we could. That would just be a fantastic project. Obviously, that wouldn't be covered by, the community for something like that. But we'll look into shade structures, and if we wanted to do something and maybe fundraise for something really cool, that would be up to us. So just know we'll keep an eye on and work with that. Again, that is nowhere near ready. We have to, do a lot more research into the different surfaces, the paint, and then shade structures. So because I have a lot of information already, I'm going to forward that over to them, and I'll copy everyone on that. Okay. And then the next project, I know they're working on Skylar tennis courts. And again, anything, that was part of our ADA accessibility plan also, because it's one of the many parks that we have in the township. And, I just want to remind them, it starts with parking, and then your access into the tennis courts. So making sure that there is an accessible pathway into the tennis courts. If there's a gate, making sure the gate can be opened maybe by somebody with limited mobility. And I've seen someone in a wheelchair playing over on the Skylar court. So we know it does, or it has been used. This was a few years back before COVID. But we do know people in wheelchairs have used that. So I'm just I want to put something together just for the township, just to make sure they keep everything in mind when they go out for bids and when they're designing. And again, we're in the planning and discussion phase,
Excuse me.
For the funding first, and then the plan, and then we can review everything. So those were the big projects, which I think, the Parks and Rec Department want to get going on first. And we'll just kind of keep our eye out. And Michelle, you can get more involved once the plans are.
Oh, this sounds fun. I'm a gardener, so I love stuff like this. My
Okay,
kids
perfect.
But however I can help, like brainstorm or find some materials that would be appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that, and maybe Dr. Weiss interject, is how do we fundraise as a township? I'm sure being a township board and we're fundraising for the township, there's a lot of parameters within that challenge. So is it Friends of Memorial Park? Do we get?
I think it's just like the benches, right, Doctor? I think people just.
We have a community foundation. You can fundraise. Community foundation earmarking for either the playground or whatever other.
Okay.
Yeah, I think people can make checks payable to the township, and then it just gets earmarked.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So that's something we can, definitely get involved with.
Yeah.
The other projects that were coming up, again, it's all part of Parks and Rec, and that Jim Majewski involved with, that's come up at the Board of Supervisors meeting, is the pathway from the community center to the pool. So I think actually it goes even further, but just in that general area. So I really was interested in knowing, because there's such a steep hill right at that light at Edgewood and what is that? Not Oxford Valley. Yeah, Oxford Valley, Edgewood and Oxford Valley Road there. It's a very steep incline. Once you cross from where like the ballparks are over, there's a very steep hill to get to the bike paths. So Jim Majewski showed me, and the entire bike path will be lowered. So when people cross, it now will be, the slope will be the 1-to-5 ratio for anyone to go either way on the bike path. So it looks like it's going to work, for sure. So that was always our concern, is, where would they even bring, how would people cross and get over to, up to that bike path? But they literally will be lowering the bike path. Good. So there are plans for that. And I think at some point, if you can reach out, maybe, and we can see the more detailed plans for that. And maybe Dave Rogers can, you can work, maybe send him something and he can.
I'll touch base. I know. I haven't talked to him even on the sill stuff. So we'll angle him up. So.
Right.
Construction on that path will be starting soon.
Oh, great. Okay. Yep. No, that'll be great. That's needed for everyone to safely cross there. So looking forward to that. The other big project I know is the administration building. The lower level will be worked on. I think it's mostly, a couple things with that, because we have stuff down in that basement, but the biggest portion of that will be taken over by the police department. And then the tax office will still remain there. So they have to do a lot of configuration as far as changing access points to the bathroom so the tax office people can get to the restroom that's down there. You know, they're going to be cutting walls and putting stuff in. So I'd like to just make sure that we're keeping up on, once the plans are final, that we review that. The one thing I am going to put something together for Jim Majewski to keep in mind while we're down there doing work, that there's some things that we have asked to be done at the admin building, but I know until they started doing anything, they didn't have to do it. But all doors should have handles that are ADA compliant. So instead of the round, you know, ball looking like you need the lever.
Push, or the lever.
Or the lever.
The levers, right.
Right. And so that was slated to be done throughout the entire building years, you know, a few years ago, but then there was a whole thing with the security system and we weren't able to change things out. But now that they're going to be down on the lower level, I said, Jim, let's get at least the lower level completely in compliance with doors. So it's just little things like that that might not have been on their plan, you know, their plans that we want to make sure that they have that on there. Additional things would be, you know, the bathroom. I'm sure it'll be handicap accessible, but you know, I'd like to review that once the plans are set. While they are, I know the tax office, you know, uses that bathroom. If it's out of commission, you know, maybe we should consider putting in a handicap or a porta potty outside so people don't have to maybe drive around to use the upstairs bathrooms. What, you know, just things to think of if that's the only bathroom on that floor. And I know just with talking with Becky in the tax office, I know that they were going to do some HVAC. I know HVAC is a problem over in the entire township building. But I asked them if they were doing the police side, are they going to also do the tax office side? Because when I went in there the other day, I saw that they had a portable air conditioning unit, and that's not good. So he was going to see if the duct worked. You know, I know that they were going to be fiddling with the duct work, not necessarily putting in a new HVAC system, because that's, as I understand, would be millions of dollars. But maybe make sure the duct work for the entire downstairs is looked at while they have it opened.
So Lisa, may I interject? Because
Sure.
It's been years since I did historic commission stuff. Is there an elevator to get down, or you have to go from Becky's area?
Yeah, I think right now they need to either drive around, or people would bring down mail, because, you know, mail gets delivered, you know, upstairs for downstairs.
Yeah,
upstairs.
I mean, I take the steps to go down to that little meeting room down there, but
no, and you know, that again, that's a $1 million project.
I know.
I think we're talking every time we turn around, something's $1 million now. Air conditioning, elevators, construction. It's just, yeah. So
it's
yes,
build. They told me. I mean, it's cheaper to rebuild stuff. Than renovate sometimes, but
right. So again, just things to think of, you know, while they're changing out things.
Yeah.
Something simple as the handles, it would be time to get that done. So we'll just, again, keep an eye on that when they start that and the final plans. I know they have kind of a plan, but I don't know how detailed and I don't know if that's the final plan yet or not. But we do have, that's the other thing, we do have a drawer down there. I'm thinking for the community events that are coming up, I'll go down and get everything out of the drawer and just bring it to my house right now. It's just like a tablecloth and information, you know, some brochures and things like that. And as far as other projects to keep in mind, I know that they're going to be working on bike paths, and I don't know what to do. I guess if you see a problem on a bike path, you know, alert the Parks and Rec Department or Jim Majewski, and they can prioritize. But I know I was kind of trying to I live where the new Wegmans is going in, and a lot of people will be well, the whole thing is you want people to be able to walk there. And I ride my bike and I see 6 to 8 inch gaps in some of the bike paths where, it's very difficult if a stroller was going and the baby would tumble out. So, if you have a problem, they did have someone go around the entire township and look for areas that need to be done, kind of do a list prioritizing. So my suggestion is just if anybody's having a problem, just to alert them to, an area that might be dangerous. But I was trying to work in, can the Wegmans project be expanded to create safer bike paths, since a lot of people will be using them to get to all the retail and restaurants.
Actually, that's a great proposal. They should integrate the bike paths within their plan, and maybe
That's right.
we can have them.
Yep.
It's a
Throw
write-off.
in as much as you can into that plan.
Yeah, although I'm a tree lover.
Dr. Weiss is laughing. Yes, I think he's going to be doing that.
My tree lover is so mortified that they cut all those trees down around Mr. Prickett's. I'm like, oh my God.
Dr. Weiss, what were you going to say?
No, the integrating all the trails is the
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah. So we'll try to get that, taken care of around that area.
It won't be in our lifetime.
Yeah. All right. So that was all. I kind of, like I said, I hit the jackpot when I walked over there and kind of got everybody on a Friday afternoon. So that's all the updates that I have for the ADA accessibility plans and projects, and we'll just follow up on that.
Yeah.
All right. The next agenda item I have is just a reminder for events that are coming up. We have August 6th is the 5K Anyway Run Walk. That was a great time last year. A lot of fun with everyone getting paint thrown at them. I stayed far away from that. I'll work behind the table, and I will be volunteering for that. I don't believe anyone else is available, right? I think
I will try to make it. I already tried to get my girlfriend who wants to participate. So if I can
do you want to volunteer? Because I have to send the Parks and Rec department.
Yeah, I can do table. I mean, with my mobility challenges, if I can do sign in or whatever.
Yeah, you just sit at the table while people sign in, and then handing. We hand out the letter or the bibs. Sure. Yeah, but it's like a 6:30 morning.
I'm up at 6:15 anyway.
All right, there you go. Roll out of bed and drive over there. Okay. So I'll just send, I can't remember who's running it, but the Parks and Rec department, our information. Okay.
Yeah, count me in on that.
Okay. And then the next event would be Community Day, August 27th. We obviously will have a table there. And so I'll send out a sign up for, who can work for an hour or two as we get closer. But just so everyone knows, that's August 27th. Next, we have the sensory kits. I'm going back and forth email with Brian over at the Hatboro Fire Department, and just asking him information as far as how did he get involved, and he talked about educating people and how did they get other groups involved. So he said he personally has a son with autism, so that's how he got involved, and he just went and spoke in front of the Masonic group, and they were interested. So it's really, and he does the educational, so it's really his personal experience that got him involved, and he's able to speak about it. So I don't know, I'd like to it'd be probably better for us to get someone who in the community that might want to work with us, maybe that has experience with a child with autism, or somebody that works in that field that would maybe be able to help us out. And so I did send him, the last email that I sent him was if he could give us a list of what he includes in the kits. So I haven't heard back from him so that would be helpful just to know what kinds of items that, and then we can reach out to somebody in the community that might be able to help us with that. So I'll just keep plugging away at finding out more information.
Lisa,
Yes.
have you talked to Tim Chamberlain yet?
No, I did not. So
He's
I was discussing with Larry Newman, but I will discuss, I forgot to talk to Tim. Is he over at the township building? Where does he work at?
He's the township's
Yeah.
fire service director.
Okay, so he's over there.
He would be the resource for you to
Okay,
communicate.
okay, then I will email him and let him know what we're trying to do, and then maybe he can brainstorm and let us know. I'm sure he'll have suggestions for sure. I forgot all about that. Thank you. Okay. All right, the next item I have is the webpage. Lynn is unable to be here. I did send everyone a document, and you saw how much work she put into coming up with just pages of resources that are available. You know, they're available elsewhere on the internet if you Google, but we were just wondering if we could just put on our website and put like a table of contents and, you know, put in aging services. And then maybe if people click on that link, it'll bring them to what Lynn has put together, you know, 4 or 5 types of other links, whether it's to the Bucks County website, there's autism, there's transportation. Our concern was we don't want to give the impression that we're endorsing any of these links. So I don't know how tricky that gets or legal wise. You know, if people find it on our website, does it mean that we're endorsing it, or can we put a disclaimer?
I don't think so, because I just did this with the area on aging in Doylestown for my mother. They have a list, and I actually brought it with me to look over. They caveat in a disclaimer, we do not endorse any of these agencies. It's just,
Yeah,
you know, for home health care or whatever, we
Right.
don't vet them. We don't do any of that. So maybe there's something that we can do. You might need to, I mean, this Dr. Weiss might go in your lane. We might have to bounce it off of the township legal, just to say, how would we disclose that or something like that?
and really, I mean, the township has, if you look on the township website, they have, you know, links to all the athletic
Yeah.
things, and, you know, so I guess they're not endorsing them, but they're.
It's just information.
Dr. Weiss, we can't hear you very
Oh,
well.
let me turn it on.
We have links to a lot of private organizations, companies. Just what comes up in my head is the sewer lateral inspection services. There's a list of plumbers that
Oh, yeah.
do the job. We don't endorse anyone. They just register on the page, and a resident can call anybody they want. I'm sure we could do something like that for links to services in the county or the state, you know. So
And-
I'm sure it could be done. It just, I guess at this point, especially since the website will be in transition soon,
Oh, okay.
the logistics of getting all this stuff on in a short amount of time.
What is the time frame for a new website then?
Well, it's a good question.
Okay.
We just got new software for building permits. That once that's done, that'll be integrated into the website. We did budget for this year a complete revamping of the website. So we haven't really started that process yet. The EMAC, you know, I'm hoping that we'll come up with some ideas so that we can get that started. In the meantime, I don't see any reason why we couldn't add what you wish on the if the committee wishes to add all this to the website. I don't think we have a limitation. It's just a matter of since we don't have a manager right now, coordinating all of it.
Okay.
But
Will we be hiring an outside party to create the website, or are you going to have an in-house?
No, it'll be out. We'll RFP and
Okay.
get bids. If there's a consortium, the state has a consortium process, that if there's somebody that does that and we are satisfied with the consortium's firm, we'll use them. If not, we'll send out the bid. We will not do it in-house.
Okay. Okay, well, maybe we'll take a two-step approach and we'll clean up the existing website, remove any bad links, and then maybe we can even put in our table of contents of future links, and then, kind of work towards putting in all those additional pages. So, okay. All right. Well, that's good to know that it will be changing. So I'll work with Lynn on that.
Yeah, had an interesting experience recently of looking for equipment on a government website, for wheelchairs and so on. And they were supposed to have a listing of companies where you could order the equipment under Medicare. Anyway, almost everyone I contacted did not, in fact, sell that type of equipment. They didn't know how their name had gotten on the website. This is a U.S. government website. And so, it is hard to maintain a good website with good links and current information. It's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
So I guess it would be good to do, but not to bite off more than we can chew in terms of what we could maintain and have with good, reliable information on it.
Okay, agree. Yeah. Okay, then I think we'll start off slow, simple first, and then we'll expand as we have more resources. Sounds like we're going to have a new web people to work with. All right, any new building plans? Michelle, nothing?
No, I was going to reach out to Jim, and then I just fell down a rabbit hole with my daughter got engaged a couple years ago. So everything's been,
Okay.
But really it's just following up. I wanted to follow up with Dave on Wegmans and see what's shaking over there. I mean, I see the trucks all the time. And like I said, the trees and the Giant, I don't know anymore on the Giant parking lot stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they restriped yet. Looks kind of the same.
I think everyone's kind of slow in their summertime between lack of help and COVID and things like that. But no additional building plans have.
I would reach out to Jim, and as they start leasing, and they have more final building plans, it might be that we would definitely want to see those.
Yeah, I actually, I thought of it because I was driving past to visit a friend who's over in Shady Brook. I saw Chase is going in. So obviously Chase needs to submit, and they're very good. I mean, very
CVS.
On a ways. They have to submit some plans, and I think CVS is going in. So we have two very corporate, and then there's a restaurant pad, but I don't know if anything's been defined on that end yet. So
I think that's going through the historical board and through the motions.
Well, the barn is going through the planning commission right now.
Right, planning.
And so they're working on how they're going to renovate the barn.
Yeah, I was going to say that's going to be more of a sticky wicket, I would think. Being an old historic person, they can grandfather some of this stuff, but if it's a corporate, they're really going to have to accommodate it.
The barn's going to be a Italian steakhouse. So that, I think they are close to finalizing a lease with them. I don't know.
But they haven't submitted their building plans.
Their plan.
It's still in the plan. I mean, there's a concept plan out there.
Yeah.
One of the DeLuca has agreed to let the HARB consult with them. So one of the members of the HARB is a historical architect. So she's working with DeLuca now to finalize, I think, plans.
Is that Jennifer? Is it? Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Okay.
I
So,
think
yeah. So I think we just need to jump in the process when Jim Majewski gets the plans, and then he should be submitting, giving them out to the, to us, but
We'll definitely have that opportunity.
yeah. But just because I know, we've had turnover, so just make sure you just keep in touch with Jim to make sure remind him that you're the one that,
Yeah, I'll
Once
shoot
together.
him an email, and I'm back I'm back Sunday night, so I can.
Okay. Okay. Anyone have any new business?
No, I mean, the election stuff, I haven't heard from any of the Bucks County voters, but I'm sure the polling thing is going to kick into speed after Labor Day, so.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Okay, and then with that, then our next meeting we have scheduled is August 10th. I'm not sure that Lynn and Al are available. Did they say they were on vacation? But we'll check with everyone. But it is scheduled for August 10th right now.
Now, is that the Zoom? Because there was a lot of question if it was in-house at the township, but is that the Zoom date?
That's the Zoom date. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like they're going to keep the Zoom for ever.
It helps.
I
It
think.
helps me. I mean, it does. It really.
So much easier to do it this way.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. And especially for us, anyone at home that can't make it to a meeting. I think it's for our committee. I think it works out well for people not able to get out of the house and attend. So.
And people traveling like Michelle. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Can do it from wherever.
Well, I mean, this is like a teeny tiny road, and it's Grand Central. The kids and I and my friends are like, where are all these cars coming from? Oh.
All right. So do I have a motion to adjourn? All right. And I'll second it. All in
Okay.
favor? Aye. All right.
Aye.
So I'll see everyone. Actually, I will see Michelle on
The 6th.
August 6th
Bright
at the
early.
5K anyway, and everyone else
Wear
on
my
August 10th.
sunscreen. And I
Yep.
hope
August 10th.
you-
Prepared to get dirty.
That sounds
Be
good with me.
painted. So,
I
all right.
know.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Bye-bye.